My name's Scott Sosso, the founder and CEO of a new company startup called LUCA, and been working on this now for 2.5 years. And with the help of the WeSoftYou team, we've been able to bring that product to life, which was really cool. Been working with Carnegie Mellon for the last 2.5 years as well, working on AI and bringing speech recognition, machine learning to help kids learn how to improve their reading.
Wow, that's amazing. And if I'm not mistaken, you started to work on that way before ChatGPT appeared. How did you even learn about generative AI? No one was talking about it. Everyone thought AI is done since 2017. It's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah. Well, we've been very fortunate to live in Pittsburgh, which has one of the top schools in the world for AI and innovation. So I decided to work with Carnegie Mellon University and been working with some of the really extraordinary kids that go through that program, as well as professors and staff. And really had the forefront, knowing that AI was coming, had the idea that how do we bring a solution to an area that's really, really difficult for a lot of families, as well as individual children that are struggling with reading. So had that idea to figure out how to bring both the technology together as well as speech recognition to help solve a problem that personally my son experienced. His name is Luca. And so my wife and I decided there was an opportunity that we could maybe take advantage of.
What's triggering you? What's your passion to work on that project that heavily, I would say, without stops?
Yeah, no, I have a high degree of work ethic, but more importantly, I see this as an opportunity to help so many people. That's really what's driving me, and I think that there's just so many families that are struggling out there. I get countless calls every week to tell me the same stories over and over, and it's the same thing that we experienced. And for me, I see this as a huge opportunity to help those families out, and more importantly, help those kids out, because they are being left behind. And so this to me is a passion project, as I mentioned earlier, and being able to make that impact, I think is going to be huge. And that's why a lot of people are excited about what we're doing.
So dyslexia is not a new problem. What are traditional ways to treat dyslexia right now?
Yeah, so traditionally, dyslexia has been a condition it's a processing disorder. And the stat that actually stood out to me the most was that 80% of kids go undiagnosed. And that means that those kids are not getting the proper academic support that they need when they're in school. So here you go. In order for these kids to improve, they really need one-on-one intensive training. And they're being put into a classroom with 20 or 25 other kids that all have the same challenges, and they're not getting that support they really need. So part of what I was trying to figure out was, how do we put a system in place that actually is scalable in the home? Okay. It was because what the traditional methods is using styles like Orton Gillingham and Wilson training systems, which are all fantastic, and that they are proven systems that work for these kids, and they work in the school environment. But these kids also need additional support and the home so that they can do reading support beyond the classroom. So what we're trying to do was to say, how do we build an affordable product that actually can be fun and engaging and something that they can actually use in the home? So traditional methods are still there, but they're not scalable, and they're very expensive. That's the other element that I didn't mention. Is they're very hard to find those reading specialists that are trained in those Orton Gillingham and Wilson training systems. So, and when you do find them, they're expensive, and rightfully so, because they do an awesome job. But we wanted to find an opportunity to build a product that was more affordable, that could reach as many people as possible that are struggling in this area.
What was the most exciting for the team who started to work on the project? Like, how did you pitch it to them? Like, what was the initial thing you started to work on?
We had the opportunity to present to the whole class, and the students get to pick which program they want to work on. So when they got an opportunity to see what the impact that our program had, we actually have had, in the last 3 years, we've had the most kids of all the different companies that are in this competition. We've had the most kids pick our to work on our project because it's really a passion project for me, but everybody sees the big impact that this is going to have on so many people. So the students really get behind that, and when we got the opportunity to present that to them, they get to request their number one, their top program they want to pick. And so we've always been fortunate enough to have the 6 or 7 of some of the brightest kids work on our platform.
Every software company always wants like to find a customer with a predefined scope that come in and say, hey, I need just to build it like forever, like for 3 years, this huge project. But it never starts like this. The best cooperation starts from the full uncertainty. And when we started to talk, right, on LUCA.ai, there was no clarity on the plans, and we had to start step by step, start slowly.
Yeah, and I think that you and Andrew did a really great job at kind of setting expectations. We knew what we needed to get to for the end of that particular program, but I also said to you, hey, listen, here's where we want to go next. And so you were able to map out that project plan, and with the future in mind as well as the short term. So that was very, very instrumental in helping to get us organized. And honestly, that is what made me most comfortable, was seeing your organization and being able to help us kind of define that whole scope along the way. Because I knew that if I had that project plan, we would be much more successful in a final output if we stuck to that plan.
Planning is crucial for every project, right? But you can't do too much planning upfront, because in that case, you're killing the creativity and the flexibility of the product. So you shouldn't turn early stage product into the, I don't know, enterprise level Gantt chart with the strict step-by-step plan. Engineering is all about the flexibility and sustainability at the same time.
Yeah, well, you and the team did, again, a tremendous job at helping us do those weekly sprints. I mean, we were actually doing two meetings a week, and reiteration after reiteration on just sort of the layout. And I remember at one point saying, like, I was so anxious to move to the next phase, but the team said, no, we got to make sure that we get the design done right before we start moving that direction, because you're going to make changes. And we did make changes, but we improved the product, the look and feel of it. And that is really what, because we took so much time at that stage with your team, that really helped set to where we are today, to make a product that looks really, really good, that is inviting to those readers. It's easy to follow, easy to understand. So I'm so glad that we took that extra time to do it and fix it and get it right early on.
Yeah, and thank you very much for your patience, because not every customer is ready for, I wouldn't call you customer, I think it's a kind of a partnership, because it's a big pleasure for us to be able to join and work on something which is like meaningful and might make an impact to the world. So when we're speaking about the discipline of engineering, what could you say, like how difficult for you to not rush and ruin the process while staying like organized and disciplined?
Well, you did have a tough. We had a firm deadline, because the class was going to be ending, and we had to present by the beginning of May. So there was a hard deadline, and that forced us to have to design a system that was going to work. That was presenting, and so that actually kind of really helped to kind of keep us focused on getting done, and that's why we worked extra time. We put extra time into it. Our team, the students put extra time into it. So that was really good to have a date, but also knowing that if we didn't hit that date, it was going to be a problem for the capstone team. But at the end of the day, you guys laying out that process and really helping us through and fixing those little tweaks and being accommodating too. I have to say that was another really big thing. It was like we had ideas, we had thoughts, and it was like, it wasn't no, it was, yeah, how are we going to figure out how to do that for them? And so that was very, very much a big help for us too.
Cool. And one of the most interesting and challenging parts for us, it's that we had to work with your existing team, right? So we had to plan deadlines and project management, everything in place, but we have to work, like, coordinate with your team as well. So what could you say about that process, how it went?
Yeah, no, and so we had two parallel tracks going on. We were working on the UI, but we were also working on how do we actually build this thing out so that we had an MVP that we could present. And so, no, we had 3 meetings a week for probably like 4 or 5 weeks and straight, and that was hard because everybody had to deliver, and your team was able to do that as well as our team had to put a lot of extra time in. You'd come back, and that doesn't count all the countless messages we had on Slack as well. Between, hey, we need to fix this, late nights, early mornings. So that was another good thing.
I remember Andrew came to me and said, "Hey, Max, looks like that guy is not sleeping. He doesn't sleep at all." And he always up, and he texting like whatever time of the day. It should be definitely a good project. So it should go, far and beyond. So right now, MVP is launched, right? What are your 3 favorite features in the MVP you've built?
I would say that the number one feature is how we actually were going to find the students' interests. So making that easy for them to not only read, which these kids struggle with reading, but we made it so it sounded the sentences out, sounded the words out. That was really an awesome feature. It's very difficult for you guys to figure that piece out, but we made it very simple. The second area that I was excited about was when we saw the actual sentences of the stories. They were short, easy to read. We adjusted the font sizes for the students. And the third thing that I really, really like is how we sound out words. So when students struggle and they get stuck on a word, you can click on a word and actually have that word sounded out to you. Your team was able to identify how to make that happen. Our team on the back end was able to provide you that information. So those are probably my three favorite features of the platform right now.
Can you tell us a couple of words about it, how it works right now, what are current results?
Yeah, it was exciting when we did the MVP. Your team was really instrumental in helping us get that to that stage. And the great news was we ended up placing second in the capstone program because of the effort that we got. I was disappointed in the sense that we should have got first, but that was okay. It was still a great accomplishment for those students and for our team. And so we did that, and then as we kind of progressed over the summer, we started to make enhancements to the platform to actually start to bring the whole integration piece together, the whole back end. So that's really when your team stepped in, and we took the MVP from that stage to bringing it to product launch. And that's where we are today. We actually did a soft launch in November 2023. And it took a lot of time, a lot of effort that came in to bring that to life, but we brought that to life, and the coolest part was we had some really great traction recently. So we've had, as you saw, I shared with you some news. We've had some recent local news, but then actually this last week we can say we're an award winner now because we actually have won 2 awards from some EdTech conferences that we're going to be attending coming up in the next 3 months. So excited to be a part of that and kind of expand the journey that we're going on with LUCA.
And I I also see you often appear on television. Like, can you drop a couple of words about that?
Yeah, no, that was exciting. Actually, it was actually a funny story because I got this invite to come and talk about it. I actually thought it was a radio spot, and I asked my son. I said, you should come. We should do this together. So he was excited, and I found out the day before that it was actually on TV. So we had a little different approach, and he was a really great trooper and said, I'm going to come. And so he came out and asked us these questions. That was the first time on TV for him, and he did an outstanding job for that. But that was a great opportunity for us to share a little bit more about what our program's about.
And can you tell a couple of words about what marketing channels right now do you use for the app? How do you approach growing your MVP and your product?
Yeah, so that's probably the hardest part, you know. So now, as we've gone through the journey of building the platform, is how you going to attract the users. So we actually have been working with your team, and we just finished launching a part of our SEO campaign. We're super excited about. We launched 352 pages of content, as I like to say, with a click of a button. There was a lot of work we put behind the scenes to make that happen. But it was really, really cool. We launched those 352 pages of content, a free resource for parents and kids to learn words that are at their reading age, the different reading ages. But also we have another 600 pages of content now that we've developed that framework. We can actually do that, and we're also looking at some other really cool opportunities to do video through. Using some AI techniques that we've shared with the team, and your team has been really great at coming back to us saying, here's how we could approach that. So we're looking at ways to expand through video, SEO, as well as obviously doing some pay-per-click, reaching out on Facebook, Instagram, regular social channels that we think there's a lot of parents that are in those markets that understand the challenges that their kids are going through. So we'll be doing those over the next couple months. The next big step is actually to start to work with schools. So we actually have been reaching out to some charter schools, virtual schools, as well as public schools. We've had some really great feedback as these conferences that we're going to be going to. There'll be a lot of school people from educators at those conferences that we'll be meeting with. So.
That had to be my next question.
Yeah.
How do you want and when do you plan to approach schools?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question, and part of that is working with you to help expand the platform. So the initial plan was to bring it to market to consumers, and allow that was the easiest road to getting to a soft launch, and then but we already had planned with your team. This is what we want to build to. So that was part of that project planning that we spoke about earlier. That was really great. We were able to establish what that plan looked like. How do we integrate with platforms, learn management systems that they work with, and how do we make a seamless experience for the teachers and educators. So that's part of our project plan. We plan on doing that over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. And then we'll have a really great product for them to start using in the school year 2024, 2025.
And do you have any specific goals you want to achieve over the next 2 years?
My mission is to get to 1 million readers. I know that's an ambitious goal, but that is where we're headed. That's what I've shared with the team. And sometimes you got to put it out there in order to set the marker so that you can have something to shoot for.
Of course.
And we're early in that journey, but that's where we're going to.
Scott, looks like you have an amazing advisory board in Luca. Could you give us a couple of words about that?
Yeah, I mean, putting together the team is really important of who can provide that experience. I'm not an educator by background, but bringing the right people into the team was important. So we have a team of AI specialists, machine learning, natural language processing. We've just been fortunate through our Carnegie Mellon relationship to build some of those, bring some of those people on board, as well as we brought on a couple of neurosurgeons that have a lot of experience in processing and neuroprocessing of dyslexia and the challenges that presents. So we've just been very fortunate to have the right team that's been able to come together to make this product where we are today.
Looks like your son Luca with us today.
Yeah.
Right? Is like any reason why we're all here together?
Yeah, no, I love. We came down here for our holiday break, and I said, hey, do you want to come and join us? And he said, absolutely. He's always excited to be able to see how this stuff, as he's learning he's growing in his young age. He gets an opportunity to see how media works and get an opportunity to speak with you, because they've heard me talk about this all day and all night and spend all this time working. And so, it's exciting to be able to meet you guys and be able to and give him an opportunity to meet the people behind the scenes working on this as well.
Thank you very much for hosting us here in South Florida, and always can't wait for next time.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you guys are down here and that we're here often. So hopefully we'll get a chance to meet up more often and keep growing this thing.
Thank you.